Why are people moving to Salem, Oregon? In this video, I'm going to go over the top 5 reasons of why people are choosing Salem. Now, some may be obvious on this list and some may not be so obvious. When my wife and I were making the decision to move, we knew we wanted a change. We knew we wanted something different. We weren't exactly sure if Salem, Oregon was going to be the right fit for us. And we were doing lots of research before coming out here and making that final decision to move. But at that time, which was around 3 years ago, there just wasn't a lot of video information on YouTube. And that's why I do these videos, is to help people like yourselves who are in our position, who are thinking about making the move to Salem, Oregon. And at the end of the video, I'm going to share with you the main reasons why my wife and I ended up choosing Salem, Oregon over some of the other cities that we were thinking about. One of the main reasons why people end up moving to Salem, Oregon, choosing to live here, is because they want a simpler, slower paced life. Now, it's true that Salem is technically a mid-sized city, but to me, it has more of that small town charm, especially the downtown area. There's a lot of people relocating from big cities like Portland, Seattle, San Francisco, Los Angeles, like my family and I did, because they're tired of feeling stressed out. They don't want to be around the congestion. They just want simplicity. They don't want to keep up with the Joneses and feeling like it's a competition everywhere they go. A lot of people say that they can relax here a little bit more, breathe a little bit easier, and that's probably because we are actually surrounded by nature, which I'll get to a little bit later in this video, and we just don't have tons of high rises, tons of clogged streets and congestion, less smog, better breathable air, especially when you're comparing it to big cities that many people are moving from to get to here to Salem. Salem is a city where it's really easy to navigate and get around. You don't have to jump on any major highways or freeways to get to anywhere throughout Salem. It just takes about 30 minutes to get from one side of the city to the other. Unlike my lifestyle in big cities where I was constantly checking Waze or Google Maps to find the quickest and shortest and fastest routes, I don't do that at all really here in Salem. On occasion, I may open up the app if there's a road closure or some sort of accident on the road, but outside of that, it's super easy to get around town. Now let's talk about the downtown area. It's a charming downtown. When people think simplicity and ease of access of getting around downtown and actually enjoying what downtown has to offer, you can look to Salem for just that. It's about 4 square blocks of your entertainment, restaurants, and shopping. The other remaining portions of the downtown are going to be kind of dedicated to the government buildings here. We are the state capital after all. But even just walking and driving through the downtown, it just feels simpler. The tallest building we have is like 9 stories high, and we only have one of those. Most of them are between 3 and 4 stories, so you still get the sunlight coming in, the natural light. You don't feel suffocated. It just adds to that simplicity and, again, that breathability when you are going through the downtown area. To me, it makes it more enjoyable. You've got a lot of historic buildings, brick facade, and that's really cool too, kind of adding to that simplicity element when going through the downtown area. What also gives you that simplicity here in Salem is just being surrounded by the agriculture and farmland that we have here. Because we're not connected to many other cities outside of Kaiser, which is kind of like our sister city to the north, which is also a small city as well, you're just surrounded by greenery, surrounded by farmland. So that just adds to the level of relaxation and just feeling, again, like you can just breathe a little bit more, because within 20 and 30 minutes, you're in Countryside Road. So even if you just literally need to get a breath of fresh air and get away from the city, you can go drive those roads like I do. And there is this feeling when you're surrounded by farmland, you just feel like you're away from it all. You're away from the buzz. You're away from that crazy city vibe. You're away from feeling maybe connected to other cities and being surrounded by more people and surrounded by more congestion. And that just adds to that more simpler way of life. It's also a city where you run into a lot of your neighbors and friends at the local stores. You see them constantly because we are not overpopulated here. We have a little less than 200,000 people. You see the same faces and you see the same people, and it just feels like more of a community and close-knit vibe here than you would, especially coming from a large city. As a reminder, I'm Dave Fine with the Real Estate Dads at eXp Realty, a local real estate agent here in Salem, Oregon. We love helping people move to and relocate to the city of Salem and the surrounding area. So if you're thinking about buying a house or even selling, make sure you hit us up at the contact information popping up or in the information below. And as I mentioned, just like you, I relocated here, so I have that perspective and that understanding of what that feels like. Okay, the next reason why many people end up moving to Salem, Oregon and choosing to stay here is because it has a community vibe here. And I kind of alluded to that in that first section, but I want to expand on it here because this was very meaningful for my family and I. We wanted that sense of community. We didn't want the crazy vibe of the big city. We were past that in our lifestyle. We didn't need that. We're raising 2 young kids. We wanted something a little bit more slower and community-based driven. And although we knew that we were going to have some of that because you have that when you move to a smaller city in general, we didn't realize how much community activity actually occurs here in Salem until we got here. And that's why I'm happy to share with you everything about the Salem community here. While it's true that Salem is made up of many different neighborhoods and different areas that have their own feel, their own vibe, their own lifestyle, the whole city really rallies around the community events that happen here. One of the biggest concerns that people share with me is that they feel like there's not going to be enough to do here in Salem. And I'll be honest with you, before we moved here, we were a little concerned about that too. Again, coming from Los Angeles, we had everything at our fingertips. All the events, all the adventures were right there, and we had a lot of them. But a lot of that was squashed. Our concerns and fears were squashed basically within the first year, realizing how many cool things happened throughout the entire year here. And one of the coolest things here is that so many people attend these events and love them. However, it is not overly crowded or overly congested. It's not hard to find parking. It's super easy. You don't feel like you're shoulder to shoulder, and you get to enjoy the entire event. You're not going to miss out on anything because you're standing in line forever. That's compared to a lot of events that you go to in a big city. So you really get to enjoy the whole thing here. And again, so many people that you know, your friends and neighbors and family will be there as well to enjoy it. During the summer here, we have a large art festival. We have something called World Beats. We've got music day. We've got concerts in the park, movies in the park. We've got the 3-on-3 basketball tournament called Hoopla, which kind of shuts down the downtown area. We've got Saturday market that goes on from spring all the way to fall, which includes the summer. We also have the county fair and the state fair right here in the city, and so much more. Many of the farms are completely fully open during the summer where they invite you to do you-pick season, where you can go pick out your own fruits and berries. Many of the farms here surrounding the city are in full swing, inviting you to do you-pick season, which you get to actually go on the farm, pick your own berries, pick your own apples and peaches and more. That's a really cool experience for a lot of people in the community. And then we get into the fall season, which is one of my favorites, where a lot of the farms open up for a lot of the fall festivities and fall festivals with pumpkin patches, corn mazes, hay rides, tons of games, tons of food, and tons of entertainment. My kids love this experience. We try to hit up a new farm probably every other weekend during the fall season, and there's just so much to do when it comes to fall festivities in Salem. During the winter months, it's a little bit tougher because we do get a lot of rain. If you want more information about that, check out some of my other videos that highlight the weather here in Salem. But during the winter, we've got a lot of holiday events, the parade, we've got the lights in the park, we've got drive-through light parade over on the state fairgrounds. So we've got a lot of bazaars and boutiques that open up with a lot of holiday festivities going on. A lot of plays and musicals are happening also during that time. Just throughout the year, there is just always something to do. I almost forgot, we've got Ag Fest here, we've got Forest Fest here. There are many more that I'm probably missing here, but there is just something to do constantly going on throughout the city. Usually in the downtown area, at the parks, or in the farm areas. There's just always something to do, and it always involves the community, and people really show up and turn out for this. And it's a really cool feeling. It's a cool vibe. So if you're looking for something a little bit more simpler entertainment that kind of goes with that first category I mentioned earlier in the video, and you don't want those mega concerts, mega entertainment complexes, massive crowds, massive people, then Salem's got you covered when it comes to entertainment and that community vibe. All right, reason number 3 may be flying under the radar for you, as it was for us, and we truly didn't realize how cool this was until we have lived here for about a year. And yeah, when we looked at Salem, we saw how centrally located it is, and that is reason number 3, the location of Salem. You're just central to everything and everywhere you want to go here in Oregon. You're about an hour and a half, 2 hours to the Cascade Mountains. You're about an hour and change to the coastline. You're about an hour outside of Portland to the north, and about an hour and a half south to Eugene. So you really can have your cake and eat it too when living in Salem. We take many trips to the coast, whether it's day trips, weekend trips, or a week getaway. My family and I take full advantage of being this close to so many cool attractions here in Salem. Now, we love taking day trips or weekend trips or week-long getaways to the coast because it's so easy to get to. It's a straight shot to the west. You're taking basically two highways, and you're there. You get a beautiful drive through the forest and through the mountains, and it just opens up right to the coastline where you're going to find some of the most charming cities and coastal communities that you can imagine. Also, the coastline of Oregon is unmatched. I've been traveling a lot. I've been to a lot of coastal areas here in the United States, and Oregon is one of my favorites. And it's not just because I live here now. I mean, I lived in sunny Southern California in Los Angeles. Love the beaches there. Was a beach guy myself for so many years, but this is just different. It's kind of where the forest meets the beach, forest meets the water. It's unbelievable, the rock formations and just the coastline itself, all the tide pools. It's a really fun adventure when you're there along the Oregon coast, and it's really close to Salem. Now, let's say you're into mountains, you're camping, skiing, fishing, or just, some sort of hiking. You're really close to the Cascade Mountains. It's about an hour and change to the foothills and a little bit further into the heart of the Cascade Mountains, where you're going to find some of the best mountain ranges around. The Cascades are beautiful. They're magnificent. We've got lots of skiing opportunities, tubing and sledding. Of course, there's camping. There's Detroit Lake. You can have some fun on your boats. Just some great hiking opportunities. And again, so close that you can do little day trips, weekend getaways, or make it a longer trip. Now, let's say you are coming from a big city and you are coming kind of having some of that nostalgia for that big city vibe and lifestyle. You're just about an hour away from Portland, so you can get all that you want. You don't have to live in that mess. You can actually live in Salem, but still enjoy that type of lifestyle. Again, we do date nights there. We'll do a day trip. We haven't really spent the weekend. We don't really have a desire to stay in Portland, but you can if you want. But it's really close, so you can take full advantage of that big city lifestyle and not have to actually live in it. And we really enjoy doing that. Now, I mentioned Eugene to the south, about an hour and a half. It's got that cool kind of college town artsy feel. So if that's something what you really want or looking for, if you want to see some University of Oregon, it's a really cool little city to explore. It's a beautiful drive. You're just driving through countryside and farmland basically on either side of you. So it feels like you're just driving pretty quick to get to Eugene. Now, there is an airport in Salem, I should mention. It flies to Los Angeles and Las Vegas only. But if you need to go more than just to those places, you can hit up Eugene for a smaller airport experience as well. Not nearly as congested or busy as PDX, Portland International Airport, over there in Portland. So if you have the option to use Eugene, it's a good reason to get down there. And again, it's only about an hour and a half away to get to your flight. Oh, and what I didn't mention at the beginning of this particular topic is that you're in the heart of Willamette wine country. So as far as location goes and being centrally located to that, you are right there. So depending on where you live in Salem, it could be anywhere between 5 minutes to maybe a 30-minute drive. And you are there in some of the most beautiful wine country. There are hundreds and hundreds of wineries and vineyards throughout the Willamette Valley and super close to Salem. So you are really centrally located to that. This is one of those things that kind of snuck up on us. It's not exactly why we chose to live in Salem, although if I was looking at this again from a different perspective, it would be a reason to choose Salem. But now that we've lived here, and for people that weren't aware of how close and centrally located things are, people speak so much about how cool it is to be so close to so many activities and just so many things in Oregon. It makes it really nice to live here because you can live in that slower paced life. It's an affordable city compared to other big cities in Oregon, and yet you can still enjoy everything that is surrounding you, like the mountains, the coastline, Portland, Eugene. This kind of leads us into the next topic, number 4, and that is the easy access to nature. And that is absolutely a reason why people fall in love and want to choose to live in Salem, Oregon. You're just surrounded by greenery, surrounded by nature. You've got lots of hiking trails and biking areas around the outskirts of the city. And within the city itself, there are lots of opportunities to walk and explore, little hiking trails at your local community parks. My family and I absolutely love this part of living in Salem. We can just drive a few minutes or even walk to some really close trails by our house. And that just adds to the element of that slower paced life, simplicity of just finding that trail, local trail, that one of your favorites is really close and easy to access. A lot of the parks here, we've got Mento Brown Island Park, which is acres and acres of open land and protected land, runs right along the river, where you have lots of walking trails and biking trails, open fields. You've got off-leash dog park, a grilling area, playground, just a really cool park to visit, and it's right in the heart of the city. As well as Riverfront Park, which is adjacent to the downtown area, also connected to the Willamette River, where they have a splash pad playground, amphitheater, walking trails, and a really cool old-time carousel that the kids absolutely love. And that's just two of the major parks here in Salem, and there are many throughout the community, many throughout the whole entire city. So each neighborhood kind of has its own large park, and it's really cool. The park systems here are great and getting better year after year. And when I say surrounded by nature, you have the Cascades pretty much in your view wherever you are in the city of Salem, especially if you're in the hilly area of Salem. You just see those snow-capped mountains throughout the year. Even in the summer, they're snow-capped, and many of them are snow-capped. And you just, again, get that sense of freshness, that sense of nature. Just by living in the city and driving around, you see that. And all the greenery that we have here throughout the city, because it rains so much, we do get the benefit of the lush green space that we have here in Salem. I mentioned being surrounded by the countryside and farmland, and there's a lot of walking trails and nature preserves out in the outskirts of the city, and that is due to because we are not surrounded by other cities. Again, having that open space, farmland, countryside is really beneficial because it provides a lot of cool trails to walk and a lot of cool bike paths to go, which is free and clear of congestion, free and clear of cars, really just get to be open and be with the land. And that is a big draw for a lot of people moving to Salem, especially for people that are moving from large cities that are just surrounded by brick and glass and steel and high rises. And it takes a lot of effort to get to some really nice hiking trails out in nature. That is one of the big draws that people talk to me about. A lot of my clients, a lot of friends say that they absolutely love that part of Salem. And my family and I absolutely love that as well. We're big avid hikers. We like to take our bikes to the different parks and trails. And we just love to explore nature. And we just feel like we can hit up every weekend something new and something different and have a fun adventure. Now, number 5 on the list is the affordability, especially when it comes to housing. We are talking about that Salem is more affordable than places like Portland and Eugene, and that is a big factor. When people are thinking about making the move, they're thinking about the finances as well. And if you're not from the Pacific Northwest and you're thinking about moving here and you're comparing Salem to other cities and you're looking at Portland, let's say you are still considering that big city lifestyle, well, it's a lot more expensive to buy a home. And if you're looking at places like Eugene and for that college vibe, well, again, it's going to cost more for you to buy a home. And if you want to be on the other side of the Cascade Mountains into Bend, Oregon, which has been a very popular destination for people to move to, so popular that they've driven the housing prices there to incredible points that it almost is unobtainable for a lot of people. So when you're comparing housing prices in Portland, the median price is going to be about $550,000. And if you go south to Eugene, it's about $493,000. Now let's talk about Salem, where it's about $447,000 for the median home price here in the city. So you can see there is definitely a significant difference between Salem and Portland, and there is a big difference between Salem and Eugene. So that is a big draw for why people choose to move here. Now, there are various price ranges, of course, like any other city. So you will find many homes that are above that price point. You're going to find some homes that are below that price point as well. But I can't tell you how many times I've talked to clients where they are considering even the coast. And the coast is a lot more expensive than Salem. But again, going back to how central Salem is, you can live in Salem and still enjoy that kind of that coastal lifestyle. You can go out there every weekend for that matter. I mean, it's that close. You just don't have to pay those coastal prices. Plus, and depending on what you're looking for, the opportunities, job opportunities, community opportunities, those types of things are just not as big living in the coast as it is here in Salem. And again, people are considering Portland and they see the housing prices there, and then they're thinking, I got to pay around $550,000 plus to live in a large city and congested, or even if you're living in a suburb of that, it's still busier there than it is going to be in Salem. And then when you're comparing Eugene to Salem, just completely different vibes, different feels, different opportunities, and again, different price point. So all said and done, not only do I believe Salem has Portland beat for many reasons, Eugene as well, we have those two cities beat as far as housing prices go. Before we made the move here, we did a lot of research, and again, we just didn't find much out there, and that's why I do these videos, especially from the perspective of someone who relocated here and as a local real estate agent here. As a reminder, if you are looking to make that move here, contact information is popping up or in the description below. I am Dave Fine with the Real Estate Dads at eXp Realty. If you love these videos, hit the like button to get more videos, hit the subscribe button, and if you have any comments or if you have any questions, you can always throw them in the comments below, but you can always text, email, or call me and I will answer them as well.